Hello everyone. So today I'm going to be doing an upcycle on this denim jacket. I've had it for quite some time. I got it from a thrift shop, which I immediately just cropped and wore with the edges raw. Earlier this spring, I was doing some painting, touching up my shop, and I thought I was being careful, but I got a little oopsie there, which actually looks kind of cool. I could actually do some more painting, but instead I am going to go ahead and sew up the lower portion of the pockets right here and do an upcycle using this little mini lap quilt that I picked up from a charity shop a couple years back. It's only enough here to complete one single sleeve, but I'm going to fold it in half and do a short sleeve and then add some other denim elements on the bottom so that I can get a long sleeve out of it. And then I may add some additional elements, maybe a different denim on the bottom to give me a bottom band. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller than it is because it's quite roomy on me. And so, yeah, thanks for joining me. Okay, welcome to the cutting table. So the first step, of course, is going to be to remove the sleeves. And I have decided to cut right on the inner portion here along this stitching line to remove the sleeve. Very easy, very simple. I would say this is definitely an upcycle for beginners. Okay, before I make my cuts, I did go in and carefully consider areas that could cause a problem. Well, not cause a problem, but just make it more difficult for me to stitch in my sleeve. See right here, the amount of space I have before I hit that pocket. I'm really making sure that I'm going to have enough left here to actually go back in and have enough seam allowance to add on a sleeve. And I have enough, barely, but enough nonetheless. So I'm going to start my first cut here at the side seam under the arm. And sometimes it can be a little daunting making your first cut, but just think about it before you do it and you'll be fine. Think about what the next step is going to be after you make your cut, and that could help you along the way. This actually hangs off of my shoulder a bit, so it's okay for me to get rid of some of this shoulder area here. Of course, some of it will be added back in once that sleeve is attached. But yeah, just carefully cutting after much consideration. Woo, I barely have something to work with, y'all. Oh boy. We'll see how this goes. See how, let me show you real quick. See how big this is right here? Just in looking at this, just from memory, I know that that's quite a bit. So that's why I'm going to take some of this out. Yeah. And that looks more like what I need to work with. The good thing about this denim is it does have stretch. It would be good to use some of this on the bias on any project. And this portion right here is just a lot of potential here in terms of using this in another upcycle. So I'm going to save this for now. I don't know, it may end up back on this jacket in a different way. But next I'm going to go ahead and cut the other sleeve. And then I'll probably proceed with just top stitching this close. This is the pocket that was on this jacket that I didn't use when I cut it to wear cropped. But I'm going to close that up. These pockets will still be functional. And there's some opportunity here on the center back to make a nice little design of some kind, add a back pocket or some type of feature, an applique, whatever. We'll see how it goes. Okay, now I did go ahead and just turn my jacket inside out to try and, figure out how much I want to cut out of my side seams. And of course, with right sides together, I'm gonna come in and probably run a seam that's going to equate to having an inch taken off of the side front and the side back. Because like I say, this denim does stretch. And so that'll just give me a little bit more of a tailored a tailored look to my crop jacket, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So it's time to sew. Thread change, off with the orange and in with the navy, baby. I know that I should wind a bobbin before I get started because I didn't have very much on that little bobbin I just put in the bobbin case. Well, I'm just ready to get going. I'll deal with it I'll deal with it later. Thicker material. Sorry guys, I keep hitting the camera. Apologies for that. Okay, I have just tried this on to make sure I like the fit. Now I'm going to come in and trim these side seams out. On both sides. And then I'm going to serge. And then I'm going to come back and top stitch this down. I may use this denim color thread so that I get the same effect. And then I'm going to cut out my sleeves. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and cut my sleeve out here. I've already auditioned this on my jacket to determine which part of this design that's in this quilt I want attached at the shoulder versus which end I want near the elbow area. So I'm just going to use an existing pattern piece that I'm familiar with that I believe will fit this armhole just fine. I'm not even worried about it. Looking at this though, I do want to try to center my design up. I don't want just a random cut, and I do want both sides of my, well, I should say I do want both my left and right sleeves to match. I don't want a different design on one sleeve versus the other, not for this particular project. But as I'm looking at how I'm going to cut, I see I'm going to have quite a bit left over here on the sides, which will be good because then I can just take that and add it to the bottom, and then I will have less of an additional fabric that I'll have to add to the bottom of my sleeve. So I think this will be a good cut for me. I'm gonna double check the layout on this and get these cut out. Has anyone noticed these coasters, these drink coasters at the dollar store? I picked these up and decided to use them for pattern weights. They come in so handy. I think they're really cute. Just a little tidbit for you if you think you'd like to try them out. It's a very inexpensive way of getting your pattern weights. Oh my gosh, I'm at a loss for words. I'm going to add just a little extra room because that denim jacket actually, like I said before, the material is stretch. So this is going to be a set-in sleeve. I'm not at all worried about. That's interesting. I'm not at all worried about, let me think about that right there. Because this is the back. It's a little bit bigger in the back. Okay. I'm not at all, but I do want to preserve this. Okay. I'm not at all worried about, gosh, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, getting this sleeve set in. Which, now that I'm thinking about it, though, I could have easily put the sleeve in before I did the side seams, and then I wouldn't have to set it in. Oops. That would have been probably a little bit easier. I don't think this is going to be a challenge at all, though. So. Sometimes the rotary cutter doesn't catch all the layers on these quilts, which is totally fine. That's why we got our big heavy duty scissors. So I go back in and clip those out quite carefully, I might add. And now, see what I might have left over, ooh, to add on the bottom here, because I do want a long sleeve. And so, yeah, I could easily just sew these back together and add a little more. I probably just go right in the middle, and then I have a little bit left over here still that I could add on the jacket in some other way. We shall see. We shall see. Okay, so this is my idea for the sleeve. It's currently pieced, and I do mean pieced. So these were a couple of pieces of the remnants that I had left over, and I'm gonna put this on the very bottom. This will be my cuff, and then this was the sleeve extension. I added some bias binding on the end. This is two different pieces. You can see my seam work there. And then this, of course, was the initial sleeve that I cut out, the short portion. And so I'm going to serge here, and just lay these on, and then top stitch in the ditch where my binding is to try to reduce bulk. Okay, friends, so I had some scrap pieces left over after I designed out my sleeve, and I was thinking of doing a little top stitched patchwork here on these front yokes on the jacket that I think might look kind of cute. We'll see. And hopefully I'll have a little bit left over. I've got some scraps over here. Maybe I can add a little something on the back. Scrap pile. Scrap buster. Okay, I have completed the construction on my sleeve, and as you can see, this is what the serging looks like in the contrasting thread. But it's a really good interior because it's sandwiched between the batting. It'd be nice and warm for the fall season. And this serves as a lining. I'm going to turn this inside out. I've already put it on the sleeve press and pressed it from the inside. Now I'm going to put it back on the sleeve press and press it flat on the right side. Okay, it has been pressed, and it will be a set-in sleeve. I'm going to, yeah, this is the front. Oh, that's going to look nice. Turn this inside out. And set my sleeve in. I like to start with this seam, matching this seam up to the side seam. Right sides together. Clip. Then go to the top. Pin that in real nice and get it stitched in. I knew that time would come. Okay, I think it laid in there nice and smooth. No puckers. Okay, first sleeve is in and looking good. It was not complicated at all. She's sitting there quite well. I do need to press it out, but just showing you how everything is looking good and lined up. Show you the interior. That's the inner portion of my sleeve. Now I do like to double stitch, so I'm going to go and run a second row of stitching just to reinforce wherever there's a stressful area. I do double stitches, and then I'm going to trim and serge. Oh, I forgot to show you guys the design I put on the back. Oh, I think this is my favorite part of this jacket. I think it's really cute. It's amazing what you can do with a little imagination and some leftover scraps. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this off with a binding around the bottom. I'm just going to use this same fabric. It's 3 inches wide. I cut it, folded it in half, and then double folded it again on each side to create bias tape. And so I'm going to go ahead and just finish this bottom portion off with that, add my other sleeve on, and then maybe try and style it up a little bit.